Up one more time for Heavy Diamond Ring. They ripped. Great fucking set. That was awesome. Yeah. Well then, here we are. This is lovely. Thank you very much for the Tennessee Pass Cookhouse to inviting me to this. I feel very lucky to be a part of this. Very cool experience. I kind of feel like I'm at the first night of an ayahuasca retreat. This is the most Caucasian room I've ever performed. In white. How was dinner? Was dinner good? Yeah. All right, let's get into it. So, I am a Leadville person, been up here a while, and I love Leadville. I have, kind of have a love-hate with Leadville. I've had a few interesting experiences here. I moved to the mountains a long time ago from downtown Detroit, and I've had more shit happen in my life in Leadville than ever in downtown Detroit. But, I really do enjoy small towns. I like living in a small town, the community aspect. But nowadays, I feel like there's certain, kind of cute little nuances that small towns have where I kind of have a litmus test for how podunk is your small town. And the first one is, do your local hotels still advertise free HBO? Every hotel in town does that. You can get HBO for like $14 a month. Sorry, my notes are by candlelight. I can't see anything. Okay. It's about as Colorado as it gets for a comedy show. Hiked a mile. We've checked like every box. Hiked a mile to it, got a lantern for my notes, we're in a yurt. Again, who's brewing the ayahuasca tea? Yes, I'll have it. Another kind of small town thing that happens in Leadville that I like is how many old unhinged white men are driving around with chalk writing on their car trying to unload some political beliefs on them. I think a lot of you know what I'm talking about.
Dirty underwear on his face in the liquor store.
Hey, that's the least surprising thing I've ever heard. I mean, who's reading that card and being he's got a point. Fuck, I never thought of it that way. Yeah, maybe Democrats do eat babies. This guy's doing some heavy thinking in the trailer park. I live down in Beaver Lakes. I feel like this is a local enough crowd I can drop that. We're up in the woods. We live at the very top, so we don't have any neighbors, which I kind of always wanted here. And we get a little hermity these days, I feel like the longer you spend living in the woods, the more accustomed you get to doing relatively dangerous shit with half a buzz. Not long ago, I realized I would so I have a pretty bad back, and every now and again I need a muscle relaxer or two for it, and I kind of stopped myself as I realized I was running a chainsaw in robe and slippers with a pretty sweet buzz on muscle relaxers. But the alarming thing was I only stopped myself because I realized I didn't have my ear protection in. And then I just went right back to it. It's something that comes, with the woodsy life. I can't tell these days if I'm becoming older and wiser or if I'm just turning into a prepper. Which I think is a relevant skill to have these days. But I'm looking down the road. I'm like, you know what? Maybe that old guy that's psychotic and paranoid with an armory in his house, maybe he does have the right idea. But for me, my prepping's a little different. I'm just trying to gather as many drugs as possible in a freezer full of ice cream. As long as I have acid and Ben and Jerry's, I'm gonna be just fine. So what a fucking week in the world, huh? It's been a pretty spicy one for our little country. My goodness. We don't need to clap for that. There's no applause necessary. I'm trying to bring the room down a notch. But, I mean, I don't even even get into today, but like, with the whole Trump assassination thing, there was one thing I found just, I don't know, my sick brain humor, I thought was kind of funny. As he was bloodied, being pulled off stage, the crowd started chanting, USA, USA. I'm like, what? To me, that felt like a group of people chanting, we love toilets, right after they shit their pants. That's the only political shit I'll talk about today. That is all. So I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark and guess this group is partial to psychedelics. Anybody? Yes? Hey. Like I said, wild stab in the dark. So yeah, I'm very stoked on psychedelics these days. I have been for most of my life. I think it's very cool they're losing their taboo. But one thing that's starting to kind of piss me off is the way the whole microdosing world is being misrepresented. Like I see on social media all the time, it's just like some gal named Piper in a thong, and it's like, when the microdose hits. It's like, first and foremost, chill the fuck out, Piper. That was 1/500th of a gram. If you're feeling anything, you did it very wrong. But again, I think it's very cool how psychedelics have kind of lost their taboo. It's rad. And I do want to thank a group of people for that, and that is white women. When like suburban white ladies deem something okay, it seems like the rest of society kind of falls in line with that. So it's like, hell yeah, let's have a microdosing Monday. Let's have a mindful microdose Monday. Whatever normalizes me tripping balls at an Olive Garden, that is what I'm about. I've never understood, and like tonight has made me realize how poorly I write. There's a note here that just says harsh dick in a soft light, and I don't know. I don't know what I can't remember.
I feel like you already know that.
No, perfect. No, that was it.
So like I said, I live way up in the woods, and I have a lot I grew up in the Midwest, so my Midwest friends are always like, oh man, the mountains are crazy. I'm always reading about like mountain lions and bears, and I'm like, our property backs up to a very popular 4x4 road in the county. Like there's like, I will take 10 mountain lions all day as opposed to a group of Texans who have just rented 2 side-by-sides. You know, they're just ripping up the road. You hear that little fucking bass line, do 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 do. They're ripping up, man. Oh. Every other mile's littered with like 6 Michelob cans. This is the most dangerous game. So I'm pretty stoked. About actually 2 months ago, I had half my thyroid carved out, and like everything was great after it. But then about a month of the date after surgery, my voice disappeared, and this is like literally tonight's like the best my voice has been in a long time. So I'm pretty stoked on it. So. But this bit doesn't quite hit without a really hoarse voice, but so yeah, I was having this extremely rare side effect that happens after 0.001% of people have this side effect after a thyroidectomy. But it was so rare. So I had my surgery in Vail, like Vail Valley surgeons, like, you know, supposedly some of the best surgeons on earth. My surgeon and his PA were Googling my shit in the room in front of me. As I'm sitting in the room, they were Googling like, month later, can't talk, trauma here. And then they wrote me a steroid with a 50-50 chance of working, where the number one side effect was decrease in height and like basically dementia. Yeah, decrease in height. I shit you not.
Have you been measuring yourself then?
No, I didn't take it. Well, actually, no, I take it back. I took the pill once and it made me feel like I had the flu for a day, so I said, fuck it. But yeah, my boy, like this, I'm like, this is nice. The last few shows I've done, I've been like, yeah, it's never a good feeling when surgeons are Googling in front of you. One thing my surgeon did do, he said in his 25-year career as a surgeon, I was only 11th person he'd clinically diagnosed as a bitch.
Sucks to suck.
That was a harsh joke. So I don't trust people who've never had their credit card declined in a crowded line at the grocery store. People think they know what adversity is. Come on. Just that dread. Oh God. Oh God, I have the money, I swear. Oh God. Oh God. Everyone behind you actively getting angrier. I'm actually kind of perspirating thinking about it right now. Anybody, so we had like any couples in here? Okay. Anybody have a funny or like weird first date story? Oh, Dad. Wow, putting pops on blast. What do you got, Dad?
Our first date was a good little pet show, actually.
Oh, all right. I'm guessing some party favors were involved.
There might have been.
Hell yeah. What else we got? Any good first date stories?
Oh yeah, you guys have the best.
That is... It's not really what I'm looking for.
You used to have a great one.
Oh,
Let's hear it.
well, we woke up behind a porta potty and
Whoa.
Jake said, well, we're close to the amenities. That was my hard sell. It was a girl sell, yeah.
So-
Sleep next to you behind a porta potty. That's fucking.
All right. First thoughts. We are cut from the same cloth, sir. I do appreciate convenience. But let's rewind to the other sentence your lady friend said. We woke up behind a porta potty as an answer to the question about a first date.
We also
went to sleep there, too.
Okay, so were you in a tent?
No, but we had a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
Were you guys unhoused at the time? Just trying to be PC here. Ah, details. Yes. Which festival? Which festival? Is that Bonner?
It's an evergreen. It's called Cowboy Cowabunga.
Cowboy Cowabunga, and you woke up behind porta potties together? That tracks. Yeah, that's what I'd expect.
Not too shocking.
Well, hey, to you two, that's amazing. Oh, fuck yeah. Excellent. Well, that's a perfect segue. So first off, my lovely wife Morgan is here. Morgan, you can't bitch at me for our first date anymore because we didn't wake up behind a porta potty. So yeah, my wife and I have what I would call a relatively entertaining first date story. So my first few years in Colorado, I was a I left, I was a sales consultant at a software company in downtown Detroit. My dad died out of nowhere and I decided to become a ski bum. And I followed some college friends that had done the same. I was a top shelf ski bum my first 3 years in Colorado. I lived in a 6-bedroom house with 9 guys. It was known as the Dude Ranch in Frisco. It was a greasy experience. We lived next to the mayor of Frisco. Gary was not a fan. Anyhow, so super ski bum. I lacked an automobile of my own at the time, and my wife and I, we met on Tinder, and she lived in Denver, I lived in Frisco, and we got to talking. We're like, oh, our first date will be a concert. So I'm like, sweet. So I swear I told her this. She swears I don't.
I doubt it.
My roommate gave me a ride to our date from Frisco to Denver, and then he joined us on the date. So our first date just had my roommate on it. No big deal. But you know, he was a good sport about it. Morgan was an okay sport about it. But I think what, you know, maybe not the roommate coming along, but we took her to a sketchy drug deal on Colfax before the show, just so we could get some drugs before the show. Which, again, she stuck with me, so I don't know what that says about her or me. She did proceed to try to start a fight with somebody at a taco truck after the show, so I think that's where I think we came in, but...
And that's when you realize you're in love.
Oh, yeah. Well, then we hooked up in front of her husky while my roommate slept like 10 feet away. So, but it was one of those nights that the whole night she's like, "You'll never get this," and I was like, "I got this." Tim works. Can people fucking stop praising celebrities that are like looking good after 50?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, no shit, this person with unlimited money and funds to beautification and everything medical to make you beautiful, they look good at 52? Fucking shocker. God, give me a fucking break. Shut the fuck up. That wasn't even a joke. I was just kind of salty about that. I was in the car the other day and someone's like, "Oh my God, have you seen Selma Hayek?" It's like, well, yeah, first and foremost, I've indulged in self-abuse to her for decades. But, like, no shit. She's literally worth $150 million and she still looks good. Give me a break. So on the topic again, back to my wife and I, there's actually, for any men in a hetero relationship in here, there's an app called Lively. You should download it. It tracks your partner's period and like where they're at and how they're gonna fucking yell at you depending on where they're at in their cycle. It's the greatest fucking thing that's ever happened to me. It's fascinating. I mean, you know, there's so many shit uses of technology these days, but something like that, it has nothing but benefited our lives together. My favorite part about this app is, you know, it takes the gal putting, like, just input the data a little bit, but then based on where they're at in their cycle, it tells you the percentage of their sex drive. I am a compulsive gambler, and I love to play the odds. I'll open the app in the morning, it's like 30% chance to hit. Like, oh, here we go. Big money. I'm gonna build a parlay here. Maybe butt stuff today, I don't know. Chucking dice. Sex is such a wonderful thing in a relationship, and you know, the one thing I think we can all agree on as men, we just can't really dangle a carrot like the lady can. Like, I'll try to convince my wife to do something like, "Hey, I'll have sex with you if you do this," and she has no problem being like, "Oh, yeah, cool, yeah, no problem. I won't do that for a year." You know, the female form's so immaculate. You have all these things to, you know, the this smooth curvature features. We just have this protrusion in bowls. Looks very dumb. When is someone like, oh, I just want to see a boner in sweatpants? And it revs me up. And I've officially reached that age where like every other one of my online ads is a boner pill ad. And one thing that upsets me about those, it's like, there's always like a stock photo of like an attractive woman in her 50s, like, hey, I need this pill to bang me. I'm a results type guy. Show me a picture of a rock hard dog. Right? I don't want to see this, I don't want to see Martha Stewart selling me a pill. I want to see a dude bricked up. Show me a guy popping a solid one to a toothless lunch lady and I know your product works. Hey guys, that's all I got. Thank you so much. You've been awesome. You guys are fantastic. Thank you.